Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel Reviewed, where we talk about all things television and film from today and yesteryear. So I wanted to come on here and do a brief recap of Harlem season 3, the series finale, and I was wrong. Okay, I was completely wrong about the situation with Seth and Quinn. I was very shocked that Seth was actually talking to another woman that he was dealing with. And of course, Quinn is not taking it well. She's just like, she basically thought that they were exclusive. She was like, you could have told me this before 5 months. There's feelings involved. We're in love with each other. And Seth basically says to her, he's like, I do love you. I have feelings for you. He was like, I never thought about the whole family thing until I met you. And Quinn is just like, you got to be freaking kidding me. She was just like, it's got to be one legit dude out here for me. Like, I cannot believe this is happening again. And I kind of feel away. Okay. Like the writers, y'all seen Quinn on her quest to just basically self-reflect and be by herself. Why would y'all set her up with Mr. Chocolate, all of for him to let her down? Now, what I do appreciate about Seth, he basically told Quinn, hey, I still want to be with you, but I do travel a lot. I'm here in one place for a certain period of time and I'm there in another place for a certain period of time. Monogamy is not for me, but I can still give you the house. I can still give you the kids. He was just like, it's just not going to be just me and you. And I do appreciate the fact that he is giving her the choice to make that decision. He is not making that decision for her by lying to her and basically making it seem like she's the only person that he is seeing. So I do appreciate the fact that he is giving her an option. You know what I'm saying? He is allowing her to see if she is going to be okay with him having dealings with another woman when he is not with her. So Quinn goes to see Camille, and she is basically trying to hype Camille up about this baby shower that Camille absolutely is not feeling. She is telling Quinn, she's like, look, I got to get this book finished. I don't have time to be stopping and pausing, taking breaks. I really need to get this book done before the baby gets here. And of course, Quinn is like, no, we have to have the baby shower. We have to celebrate you. It's going to be fun. And of course, Quinn ends up talking Camille into kind of being excited about the baby shower. So the reviews are in, and Angie gets positive feedback from the theater critic. So she is uber excited. She is basically like, yes, I'm that girl. And, I cannot wait for people to see this play now because, she's basically got her self esteem boosted back up. So, she's reading the reviews, and, Mike is listening. He's seemingly excited for her too. And once, she's done tooting her own horn, okay, they sit down and they have a discussion, and Mike basically says to her, he's like, I miss this. I miss, us just being just us, just the two of us. So they decide that they're going to have a date night after Camille's baby shower. And, he basically tells Angie, I'm going to leave my work thing at work and you're going to leave your play thing, at the theater. And then we just going to concentrate on us. And he was like, there's this artist that I've been wanting you to check out. And she's like, yeah, you've been mentioning him to me. She's like, yeah, baby, I promise. It's just, we're going to have a date night and it's just going to be all about us, nothing else. So Eva and Ty, they are out shopping for bed sheets, honey, because Ty basically lets Eva know, baby, your thread count, that's too harsh on my skin. Like, honey, I need some softer sheets to lay on. You should be ashamed of yourself. So, they're just joking around and, hanging out, again, shopping. And so Eva ends up mentioning to Ty that her mother is coming into town. She's like, my mom's coming to see me before she goes to London. We're going to have dinner and I would like for you to come. And, Ty's like, oh, you want me to meet your mom? Okay, I'm meeting the folks, whatever. And, Eva was like, yeah, she's like, my mom, she basically has good discernment more so than myself. Eva was basically saying to Tasha, it's like, I always go for the girls and I get, the ones who just look a certain way. And so I ignore all the red flags. And she was like, but when it comes to you, basically saying to Ty, you're pretty much the whole package. And so Ty's like, okay, cool, and she's like, so when are you guys going to have dinner? And Eva lets her know, hey, it's going to be on this date. And Ty was like, oh, I don't know if I'm able to make it. That's Camille's baby shower. I got to be there. I got a lot to do, blah, blah, blah. And so Eva kind of looks at her like, man, come on. And then Ty was like, but you know what? For you, I'll make sure that I'm there. So the baby shower takes place. It's this beautiful, elaborate baby shower. And honey, Ian is running around like a chicken with his head cut off because, honey, he is in charge of the food and the cake. And Sir absolutely forgets about the cake. So he has to call his girlfriend Portia to bring the cake to Camille's baby shower. Okay. So as everyone is coming into the baby shower, Quinn ends up running into a friend of hers, this lady here, and she was like, "Girl, I didn't know you was seeing anybody. Congratulations on the baby." And she's like, "Girl, I'm not. I'm single." She was like, "I picked my donor, and boom, I'm pregnant." And Quinn was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, I just got tired of waiting." And she ends up telling Quinn about this mommy workshop, and basically it's a group of women that meet up who are looking to become mothers without a partner. And, she ends up telling Quinn, maybe you should check it out. And Quinn's like, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks. So Portia ends up showing up to bring the cake that Ian asked her to bring. And honey, of course, Camille and the girls are girling. They're like, "What is your girlfriend doing here?" And Angie behind baby, she's like, "Baby, she better get up out of here because we will fight." And Quinn was like, "We will." Angie was like, "Yeah, we'll fight her. Like, she ain't got no business up in here." And Ian was like, "She's a great chef. I asked her to bring the cake. And that's all she's here. She's just here to place the cake or whatever." And honey, Ian's auntie and Quinn's mom is looking at it like this is some straight up Jerry Springer mess. Like, how this Negro got his baby mama and his girlfriend in the same place at the same time. So, Ian goes over, he's helping Portia placed the cake, and Portia's like, "I cannot believe you got me up in here bringing a cake to your baby mama's baby shower or whatever." And I think it's probably setting in on her like exactly what's going on because Ian is there to celebrate the soon to be birth of his child. And if we think about it, we really never got to see too many interactions with Portia and Ian after the fact. Like, we didn't get to see him tell her that Camille was pregnant, so we do not know the dynamic between the two of them. All we know is that they're still together. And so to see her, be in that setting of the baby shower, even though she wasn't going to be there, we got to see a little bit of her feelings about the whole situation in that moment. So everyone appears to be having a good time at the baby shower. Camille's mom ends up coming to the baby shower. They have this cute little photo booth set up where, you can use all these little different things to take pictures with. Ian and Camille, they take a picture together, and he just seems like he's so happy. They're really excited about the fact that they're about to become parents. And even though Camille was a little resistant and she didn't want the baby shower, she really, really, really had a good time. It was just really, really cute. So, honey, even Dr. Pruitt left the house for Camille. Okay, she shows up to the baby shower. Of course, Camille is shocked, and Dr. Pruitt gives her this gift, this lovely blanket. And Camille is in awe of the blanket. She's like, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful." And Dr. Pruitt is like, "Yeah, it's a combination of all the villages that you studied throughout your career." And Camille is just like, just grateful to have it. And I just thought this was a very thoughtful gift because everyone knows how much her career meant to her, her teachings and things like that, and how much anthropology or whatever meant to Camille. But honey, when she leaned in to give Dr. Pruitt a hug,
What is that?
Sorry, it's Beyonce.
Okay.
so after the baby shower, Ian goes to Camille's house. He wants to show her the room that is done being painted. And this is going to be the area where the baby is going to be sleeping. And, Camille is just so excited. She thinks it looks really good. And Ian, he is just excited that he's about to be a dad. So Angie and Mike, they having their date night or whatever, and they end up on the little strip where the artist is. And so Mike is trying to get the guy's attention. He's talking to someone else, and they see all these beautiful paintings. And Angie was like, would it be real fly? Would it be real sexy right now if you steal one of these paintings? And we just dash up out of here. And so, Mike is like playing along, which shocked me because I was like, "Oh, not Mr. Prim and Proper, honey, about to snatch something up." So he ends up saying, "Yeah, yeah, let's do that." So he ends up taking this picture and he puts it in his coat. And, and just like, "Okay, we got to run." They start running and they're cracking up laughing. And they just seem to be having such a good time and they seem to be reconnecting. So this threw me off a little bit because I was like, okay, maybe they are going to make it down the aisle because it seemed like they're trying to rekindle romance. And what he ended up doing with the picture, I thought was very cute. So the portrait that he actually snatched up was a photo of Angie that he had the artist paint. Because at first Angie was like, we got to go put this picture back. I'll snatch some up, but we got to put it back. Your girl don't do jail. And when he pulls the picture out and he shows it to her and she sees that it's her, I was like, okay, so they might make it after all. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm feeling like for her right about now. It was really really cute, a really cute moment, and they just sit down and they have a conversation, and things appear to be on the right track between Angie and Mike. So Ty shows up to the restaurant where Eva and her mom is. And, she gets out of the car and she looks into the restaurant, and you could just see this overwhelmingly feeling of worry just kind of cascades over her face. And she ends up getting back into the car. And while she's getting back in the car, Eva is walking to the door, to basically greet her. And she sees Ty get in the car, and the look on her face was like, really? Like, girl, are you serious? And so, Ty ends up sending her a text saying, that she couldn't make it or whatever. And of course, Eva is more upset now because she's like, dude, I just saw you get in the car. Now you sitting up here lying, talking about you can't make it. Ian and Camilla still hanging out or whatever. They're just chatting it up. They get all the baby stuff put out or whatever. And, the baby starts to move a little bit. And so Ian, he touches Camille's belly, but the baby stops. And she's like, well, if I lay on my side, she'll start back moving. So, she goes and lay on her side, and they are talking, and, it's getting late, in the words of Floetry. Okay. And so they almost kiss. And in that moment, I was like, oh, okay, so this is not going to end well for Portia. Okay. And, Camille, she basically resists, which I was shocked because we already know how these two are when they are together alone and the feelings start to feel. Okay. But Ian ends up going home. And when he gets into bed with Portia, she ends up opening her eyes like, Negro, where you been? So, yeah, not a good situation. Okay. So Camille finally finishes her book, and I'm sure she's elated. She is submitting everything to the publisher, and she kind of sits back and she starts thinking about things. And this little cute cartoon ends up popping up, and I'm assuming it's of her and Ian. It kind of looked like Princess and the Frog, quiet as it's kept, but nonetheless, a really cute cartoon. And we also get a brief moment where we see Quinn. She's looking at her cell phone, and Seth sends her a text asking, can they please talk? And then it flashes to Angie. Angie, sipping on whatever in her cup with her and Mike on the photo. Okay. And just basically, I guess, trying to figure things out. And we also get a moment where we see Ty. She's basically been blowing up Eva's phone, texting her, and Eva is paying her dust after her, after Ty stood up her and her mom. And then we get to see Ian and Camille at the doctor's office. The doctor basically tells them that the baby is going to come any day now. That I think she said she was already dilated a little bit. So, they are basically waiting on the arrival of the baby. And of course, Ian is super excited. And, you know, the doctor was like, I'll just, make sure that you are aware that you need to be ready to go at any moment because the baby is at the point of where, she's just going to come at any given moment. So as Camille is leaving the doctor's appointment, honey, she runs into Portia. And of course, she and Portia have this awkward exchange of hellos. And, Portia's like, oh, you're going to be due any day now. And she's like, yeah, basically that's what the doctor told us. And Camille was like, well, I got to go. And Portia's like, yeah, I have an appointment. So I'm thinking like, girl, so Ian didn't finish one appointment, and do he have another, or was Portia going to this appointment by herself? Nonetheless, you could tell that this was going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Okay. So Ty is tired of the silent treatment, honey. So she goes to see Eva at work, and Eva is still paying her dust. And Ty's like, "This how you greet your girlfriend?" And Eva's just like, "I'm at work." She's picking up folders or whatever from a meeting they just had. And Ty was like, "Babe, I'm sorry. I told you, the baby shower ran late." And Eva was like, "No, it did not. I saw you. I saw you get out of the car. I came to greet you, and I saw you get back in the car." And Ty, she just standing there with egg on her face, basically. And she apologizes to her, and Eva was like, nah. She said, you know what, you don't owe me no apology, really. She said, because you already told me that you was something else. She said, you already told me about your red flag. So she was like, that's really my fault or whatever. And of course, Ty feels guilty because she basically lied to old girl's face and old girl called her out on it. And, just wasn't a good situation. Not at all. Okay. So Quinn, she goes to see Seth, and she basically tells him something. So I'm just here for the view. I missed the view of this apartment. And he was like, well, if you want it, it's yours. I'll get your name on the title today if you want me to, talking that talk. And Quinn is just like, whatever. And he's just telling Quinn, I can still give you everything that you want. It's just not gonna be just us. He's basically letting her know, look, I'm telling you, I'm gonna give you what you want, but you're gonna have to basically meet me halfway. And he asked Quinn, he was like, how about you meet old girl? And ultimately she does. So Ty pops up on Eva's mom. Eva's mom is headed to the airport, and she profusely apologizes to Eva's mom, about the other night. And Eva mom basically is not trying to hear it in the moment. She was like, honey, I got a plane to catch. I'm not trying to have it delayed or postponed. And I have a car that's waiting on me. And Ty was like, I have a car outside. Can you please just give me a few minutes of your time? I just want you to know that I'm good for your daughter. I really love her. And Eva's mom is like, child, please, that's not what you showed the other night. Sidebar, how y'all gonna have Robin Givens on the show for only 15 minutes? Like, she should have been through the whole season. That is just my opinion. I digress. So Ty ends up convincing Eva's mom to let her take her to the airport or whatever. And, even though she was a little hesitant and resistant, Eva mom goes along, with Ty. We do not get to see that conversation, okay? So we do not know exactly what that ride to the airport was like. I wish we could have gotten that scene from them, but we don't. But nonetheless, she hears Ty out and she lets Ty take her to the airport. So Portia comes home and Ian is in the kitchen. He's making a snack or whatever, seemingly in a good mood. And honey, she just come and wipe that all the way off of his face. Okay. She was like, look, where were you the other night? And he was like, I was at Camille's, we got the baby's room together and, we just started talking and time just kind of got away from us. And so, Portia was like, yeah, well, maybe you stayed longer because that's where you really want to be. Now, Ian is like, where's all this coming from? And she was like, you're still in love with Camille. And he doesn't say anything after that. And she was like, wow, like, okay, like, well, why are you even with me? And he was like, because I fell for you too, Portia. I didn't expect to fall in love with you, but I did, and I didn't want to hurt you. And so Portia is, like, well, good luck with that because it ain't working out for me. Like, honey, you just not realizing bacon is greasy. Okay, like, girl, we already knew you was feeling away when you had to go to the baby shower. And you definitely felt the way when you ran to Camille at the doctor's office. So again, this was just the straw that broke the camel's back. So Portia is letting Ian know, hey, look, this ain't it. She was like, I deserve for someone to be in love with me and put me first. And I'm not going to get that from you because you want to give all that to Camille, basically. And she was just like, that's not fair to me. And she just basically lets him know.
So, build your crib, build your life together. I'm done.
Well, what about our plans to have a baby?
Nigga, I don't need you for that.
So Camille goes to see her publisher. She wants a little bit of feedback from the manuscript that she submitted. And she was like, I know it's not perfect, but, I just want to know what you think. And the publisher surprises her and she says, it's great. It's a great read. She was just like, for this to be your first full submission, she was like, I don't really see anything that you need to change. She was like, it's just a wonderful book. And she's like, it's like your love story. And Camille was like, really? And she was like, yeah. And so Camille is just sitting there dumbfounded because I don't think that she expected to get such positive feedback, but she did. So Quinn meets up with Seth and her potential sister wife. And, she greets him and she gives him a kiss. And she's like, oh my God, was I supposed to do that? And the girl's like, oh yeah, it's cool. It is what it is. So Seth introduces the two of them. And, he ends up saying, well, I'm going to go step away and let y'all two, chop it up. And so on his way out, he ends up giving the girl a kiss on the lips too. And so Quinn was like, okay, like, I need a drink. So they're talking. The young lady, she seems very nice and just very open about the whole situation. And she's like, I heard a lot about you. And, she's just saying all these things, XYZ. And so Quinn is just like taking it all in. But honey, when I tell you old girl was open, honey, she was too open. Okay.
I get tested twice a month for STDs, full panel. Actually got tested last week.
Oh.
And here are my results. All negatives, as you can see, even herpes, and they say 80% of the entire population has that. So,
honey, after old girl put that phone down, Quinn was like, oh no, ma'am. No, this is not for me. She was like, taxi, I got to get the heck up out of here, honey. And she told the girl, she was like, it's not you, it's me. Like, I am not with this. I am not about that life. Okay. So Angie and Eric, they're getting ready to, do their performance of the play. And I just figured out that I guess he is like the marijuana. Okay. That is why he got all that shrubbery around his neck and the little brown suit. I guess he's the joint. So anyway, they're talking and he's telling her, oh my God, Tyler Perry's supposed to be here, Oprah and some director or whatever, they're all supposed to be here. And Angie, she's taking it all in. She's excited, but at the same time, she gets a little nervous. So everybody is waiting for the play to start, and Quinn, Ty, and Camille are out in the lobby chopping it up, honey. And so Quinn is basically telling them about her little meeting up with Seth and the potential sister wife. And she was like, nope, not for me, not about that life. And Ty was like, girl, you ain't into no polygamy. I don't even know why you went there. And Camille was like, well, at least now you know for a fact that that's not something for you. And Quinn was like, exactly, absolutely not. And then she ends up telling them about the mommy class that the young lady from the baby shower recommended to her. And she says she thinks she's going to go ahead and, check it out to see how things go. So while they up there talking, honey, Ian shows up with this military bag, which is Camille's overnight bag, because again, the baby could come at any moment. And so they looking at him like he crazy, and he's scouting the place out. Some, let me go find the emergency exits just in case we need to run up out of here. It was so cute. He is just so excited about being a dad. I just really enjoyed them having him be so elated. You know what I'm saying? I really like that. So Eric ends up texting Quinn and was like, please come backstage. Angie is freaking out. And so Quinn goes in to talk to her. And she's like, honey, you did not sleep on my couch and eat up all my food to pursue your dreams for you to come this far and be basically doubting yourself. She was like, honey, look in the mirror. You are Angie. You are that girl. You got this. She had to give her a nice little pep talk. And of course, Angie goes out there and she basically does what she does. So the play takes place, and we keep getting flashes of Quinn, Ty, and Camille in the audience, and them basically looking at Angie do her thing. And I was like, okay, so it's kind of like a little resemblance of their friendship. They're watching their friend play. Someone who is in a friendship with a group of women, 4 women, and then here they are, 4 women, Camille, Quinn, and Ty, and they're watching their best friend, on stage pursue her dreams. So I thought that was cute. Some of the music that they were singing in the play, it was straight, it wasn't anything to just be like, oh my gosh, they sound so good or whatever. They didn't sound bad, but it is what it is. Nonetheless, Angie, she was having her moment in the sun, and I did appreciate the fact that her friends were there to support her and see her dreams come true. So once the play is over, Camille, Ty, and Quinn, they're out in the lobby, and of course, Angie has to make her elaborate entrance, honey. She is really on cloud 9, feeling herself as she should. Okay. And, Quinn and everyone is just congratulating her on doing a phenomenal job, and just saying how everyone enjoyed the play. It got a great response from the audience. They're just happy to see her, doing her thing. And so they out there dancing, honey. And Camille, Lord, I don't know why they picked that dress out for her. But anyway, so they out there dancing, having a good old time. And Ian, he's like, you need to stop dancing. The doctor said that the baby could come at any minute. Camille's like, boy, move, leave me alone. Let me do my thing. They all out there just acting a fool and just having a good time. And then we also get to see Mike. He walks up and he hands Angie some flowers. So he's very proud of her. And, just basically congratulating his woman. So while Angie and Mike are talking, this director ends up coming down and introducing himself to Angie and Mike. So the director lets Angie know that he has an upcoming film that he would love for her to, take part in. And he was like, I'll get the script to you. You can look over it and let me know if you're interested. I'll need an answer, by tomorrow because we're going to shoot the film in June. And so, of course, Angie is super excited. She's like, oh my God, a movie, a real movie. He was like, yeah, like I said, it shoots in June. That's the only time Idris' schedule is free. And she's like, oh my God, Idris. And so she's all excited or whatever. And Mike basically lets the director know, well, she won't be able to participate in that film because we're getting married in June. And so, the guy was like, oh, okay, well, it seems like y'all might need to discuss this. So he basically lets Angie know, if you're interested, let me know. I'll get the script over to you. So he walks off and Angie and Mike start to have a conversation, somewhat of a conversation, okay? Angie basically lets him know, don't be making no decisions for me when it comes to my career. That is my choice. You do not have the authority to make decisions for me. Like, don't do that. And Mike is basically letting Angie know, but why would you want to take a job that is going to basically interfere with us getting married? Like, no, why would you want to do that? And so, he's getting a little upset. And, she basically says,
Can we not talk about this right now?
I'll do you one better. We don't have to talk about it at all. We either keep the dates of the wedding as planned, or it's off. For good.
Quinn, Ty, and Camille, they're still out on the dance floor, honey. Camille is having a good time, baby, until her water breaks. And baby, when her water breaks, Quinn and Ty look down and it was like, oh, snap, like it's time to go. So Camille gets to the hospital and she gives birth to a 3-month-old. So after the baby is born, everyone comes into the room, to see Camille and the baby. And Ian, he is happy, super excited. And, everyone's, holding a baby, getting a good look at the 3-month-old. Camille's mom comes into the room, her mom is there and she holds the baby. And Camille, she just look at her while her mom is holding. Everybody's just excited to see that Camille is now a mom. So Angie and Mike have a discussion, and she basically lets him know. She was like, "I understand what you were saying when it comes to compromise," and so Mike says something to the effect of, "What I'm glad you came to your senses," and she was like, "No." When it comes to compromise, it seems like I am the one who is always giving the most compromise. I am the one doing the most. She was like, when you have to leave from a restaurant, when we're having drinks or whatever, if you have to leave early to go handle a client and take care of business. She said, I don't give you grief, but when it comes to me and my career, it is a problem. And she basically just lets him know.
So I think it's best that we both move on in a direction that satisfies our individual needs. Because my mind is made up.
And this is Angie letting her mom know that she's going to be doing a movie with Idris Elba. Honey, when I tell you I loved Angie and Sherry Shepherd as her mom, I wish we had got a little bit more of that this season instead of these little 5 minutes. Okay. So Quinn ends up going to the workshop that was suggested to her by her friend from the baby shower. And, she is letting the lady know that she appreciates all the information that she received. She was just like, I learned so much about the donors and, if they want to be known or, not known and things like that. So while she's talking, she ends up turning around and she sees her ex-girlfriend. And so, they are both shocked to see each other. They hug and say hi. And, her ex-girlfriend ends up asking her, are you available to go and have a drink? And Quinn was like, sure, that sounds cool. So Ty gets engaged to Eva. She proposes to her with a ring. She was like, this ring belongs to my grandmother. And she told me that the person that I give this ring to, will be very special. And she was like, it will mean the world to me if you will wear this ring. And she gets down and proposes to Eva. And of course, Eva says yes. So Camille and Ian are home from the hospital. They're getting settled in with the baby. And, they're just sitting back talking and just kind of overwhelmed at the fact that they are both parents now. So as Camille and Ian are talking, he basically tells her, he was like, I think it'll be cool if you and the baby, come live with me in a bigger space. And of course, Camille's like, I'm not coming to stay there. Portia do not want your baby mama living there. And that's when he proceeds to let her know that he and Portia are no longer together. He tells her that Portia pretty much knew that he was still in love with Camille. And he tells Camille that he tried his best to fight it, but ultimately that it was always supposed to be her. She was always the one for him. And that, this is where he wants to be. And of course, Camille is happy. And we get to see these two basically have their happily ever after. So Camille's book is out and she is doing a public reading of her book at the library. So we get to see her and we get to see Ian standing over in the corner listening to his girl read her book. Okay. And of course, the show ends with the girls, hanging out or whatever. Now, what I will say is, I don't know the goings on of the industry, the budgets and things like that. However, I do wish that if they were going to stick to 6 episodes, which they did, I do wish that the last 2 episodes could have been at least an hour long because to me, it was just a lot for them to cover. I really wish that this show was getting another season because I would love to see the dynamic of Camille and her friends with Camille as a mom. Like being a mom changes everything, and she is so used to being able to get up and go and be with her friends all the time. I really wish we could have seen that carry out in another season and just seeing her and Ian find their groove as a couple and as a couple who are new parents. You know, Also, I wish we could have gotten to see the outcome of Ty being engaged to Eva and, just her basically trying to make amends with her family, whether they are going to accept her or not, just basically facing the music with her family. Also, just the see what trajectory Angie's career was going to take after having such a successful run with this play. You know what I'm saying? So, and also with Quinn, like, was she going to end back up with the ex-girlfriend or was she just still going to do the whole pregnancy thing alone and just become a single mom? Like, I really wish that we could have gotten another season. And again, if we could not, I wish they could have made the episodes just a little longer just to kind of get more out of what is still a lot of story to be told. You know what I'm saying? I did like this season, but it was just so rushed. Like you could tell it was rushed. Like the 6 episodes just blew me. Like y'all can either get 10 out of your final season. But again, I don't know the ins and out of, I don't know the ins and out of a budget and, just dealing with the industry and networks and things like that. But I really wish that they could have explored a little bit more because it was just still a lot more that could have been told. Well, that is all I have for you guys in this video. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.